drop.
Cool. And you can see the epic pen here at the corner, yeah?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
cool. So you're on your newish team.
Yes.
Okay. See how that
My
goes.
melee's not good. Controller doesn't shoulder button.
Okay. Okay. There is like a lot more understanding already than like, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago,
Yeah.
whenever you started playing. Like even those dashes are just beautiful. It's like, you know what? Not there, chase me.
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit of the rolls, you're getting a little bit like too happy with those rolls.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to wake up with supers in KOF unless you have like full invincibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you trying to bait a DP there? Like why are there so many rolls? Are you trying to bait a DP and punish him fully from behind? What was your thoughts there? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough. So one thing you want to keep in mind in that situation is that before you bait DPs, yes, like one bait is fine, but three in a row when your opponent is really not DPing is really stretching it. So you want to understand first what happened. Actually, we're gonna go back to this.
I think part of it. I think part of it was trying to bait the DP, but the other part was also panicking because I was low on health.
Okay.
Whereas if I'd just taken a second to think it through rationally, I probably could have come up with something better.
Fair enough. Okay, one thing that I would like you to understand is that reversals in fighting games in general will come more likely when your opponent is quote-unquote low on mental energy. Now, this is a concept that I explain in other games as well. Imagine that aside from, whatever meter you have in your game, you also have an invisible mental health energy, right? And whenever you start, and whenever your opponent starts, you're pretty much, fine. Like, you're not stressed, you're not worried about taking decisions, you're not doubting your abilities and things like that. Now, whenever you attack and your stuff is working, this is still like completely full. Like, think completely full. And you're fine. You're taking like your decisions at the best of your abilities. There is no stress. However, when your opponent is in the opposite situation, because you're attacking them, this bar starts draining pretty quickly, right? Of course, this is dependent on the level of composure your opponent has. Usually, the higher you get in your fighting game level and knowledge, the more at ease you are with keeping composure. Is part of the skill set. But in general, let's just say that you lost 3 Okis in a row, like 3 wake up situations in a row. That bar will drastically go down, like that and that and that, right? And it doesn't really have to be related to health. Of course, like when you're here, you're panicking, right? More than when you're here. But in general, it's not having to be related with health necessarily. It can also be related to meter situation, character disadvantage, unfamiliarity with the matchup. Say you have like a second character like, I don't know, Ramon or some character nobody plays. That can also put stress here too, right? So there's several situations that will put your opponent more likely to do something quote-unquote stupid, like waking up with a DP, right? Because they're trying to basically win some of this bar back by having a low-cost decision, right? That is like, okay, whatever they do, are they going low? Are they going high? Are they going for a common grab? Are they going for a normal grab? DP beats them all, right? There is almost like there's very little effort. Yes, you're risking, right? But at that point, you don't care. You don't care anymore because you're not thinking straight, right? This is like how players on this side would read the situation. This is like how I take decisions, when to bait and when to keep on pressuring and so on. And of course, it's like, not set in stone. You will have the player that will literally DP here, 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 and then it's up to you to read their habits. But there is a lot more quote-unquote psychological science behind when to bait the DPs and so on. So if you haven't pressured a lot your opponent, more likely they are not going to DP, or they're not going to do something very risky. And that's how you try to gauge when to actually, you know, do a big bait and so on. So keep that in mind. We're going to go back because this is Shingo. There you go. Because like if we go here, I think you did it like literally 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Right? So 1. Then I think you get a knockdown somehow. Yeah. Try to jump forward. That's also a bait to DP. This is also a bait to DP. But even then, see, you got the bait to the DP, and then you only got to throw. So if you do go for a bait, you have to make it count as well. So make sure, because I get it that you want to get close for the close C for the full conversion, but from there you can also do crouch C, right? And cancel into whatever special you have. If you want the launcher, if you want the super, you don't have the bar in this case, but in general, you don't have to move forward and risk to get the forward plus C for the throw, which happens so many times in KOF. So yeah, just try and think creatively on how to solve problems. Because if you run, right, instead of walking, if you run, you don't have the problem with the throw. Because you're not going to get the throw. You have to stop in KOF to throw with runs. But in general, think creatively on how to solve problems, because that would have helped you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go on. Nice, that's good. Okay, here on the Oki, he has like a 3-way mix-up pretty much. Like this character, actually a 4-way mix-up. So if instead of timing this jump D, do it that way, right? Here, because it's not gonna hit. If you go either later to actually, you know, get this to connect and get the overhead, or you can also like anticipate it as you did intentionally to miss, and then go with a crouching B with the low, which is probably like crouching B close C. It's a 2-frame if I remember right. And also if you do this, once again the wrong timing, you can set up a proximity unblockable ES, which also launches and gives you like a lot of damage, because you get the 1, 2, 3 juggle, right? So, and also you have a crouching B into overhead. You know, the elbow that knocks down.
Yes. Yeah.
So in a situation like this, you have a lot of possibilities. It's practically a 5-way mix-up. And this is a character that wants to play this game, because like he has a lot of damage of pretty much any of those options, especially with mirror. At the moment you don't have it, but especially with mirror. So I would really try and understand this concept, because you don't want to just be doing, you know, jump in D and then a button here and then reset into neutral, because his neutral is a bit poorer than the other characters on average in the game. So try and really practice this 5-way mix-up, because it's really, really strong. So we're gonna go on. Yeah. Now, oh, I'm not sure what happened there.
I did crouching D instead of B.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Okay, this option, it worked out for you, but it really doesn't matter, because this is like, aside from being a risk, it has like no confirm. It's basically like, oh, just throw something and hope it works. Because if they block, it's a full max conversion you're eating. Like we're talking this much damage, right? And once you do get it, right, is this much damage. And sure, like you can risk this much damage for that. It's not saying don't do it ever, but it has to be a calculated risk, maybe based on an habit or something. That looked pretty out of the blue, so be careful, because that can cost you a lot in games, especially against like actual anchors in the game. Like an anchor can kill you with 2 bars at that situation. Okay, so another thing that you don't seem to be comfortable doing is blocking. in general, like he has no. This is like why I have a session called Understanding Critical Ranges and How to Minimize Risks, right? So we're gonna take it from here. Okay, so here you get hit, fine. So first of all, I think this was a missed DP because I don't see a reason to wake up with Rekka, so I'm gonna assume it's a DP.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine. But yeah, ignoring that, right? You have to understand that here you are outside his crouching B range, right? Even if he crouches Bs, you can block low and react to high. So most likely what you're doing is just chilling in a way and react and waiting for him to try and go into high. Now, you know, since we've spoken before about RPS in KOF, if he does crouch B, most likely either is going to do a Rekka, which you can block, right? No biggie. Or he's going to take into the air. If he does take into the air, that's where your standing A comes in. Because he's just so close, right? That he's just going to eat the standing A here before he does anything. And it's fairly low risk for you. Now, you're playing against your brother. And I cannot gauge the level of your brother. He's not going to, you know, walk back and do a Rekka to punish the standing A because he read it. Like, I don't think both of you are at that level yet. It's going to come, so don't worry. But in general, that standing A is a really, like, you're not in danger. That's the thing. Like, I know this is, like, art because it comes with experience. But understanding these situations is really, really important. You are not in danger here. You do standing A, right? And reset him into the air, and suddenly you have a mix-up. Right? The same 5-way mix-up, pretty much.
Yep.
Coming out of the corner. So that is really important to understand. Because the only thing that you have to do is react to the jump in C. It's not that difficult. So let's go. And now, see, even from here, like here, you don't have to, you know, super jump out or try and leave the corner like, you know, floor is lava here. No, just like, you can even just walk forward and wait for a jump to DP, or you can just press the button early. If you really want to super jump, you press the button here, not there. Because if you press the button here, you're assuming that all of this area will be unchallenged, which is pretty ballsy to do if you think about it. It's like, oh, it's not going to press a button. It's just going to let me jump in and let me get my combo. No, it's a two-player game. So, yeah, which is probably what happens, right? Yeah, exactly. And now you're back in the corner. Okay, DP, fair enough. That's fine. To be fair, like, see, for example, if we were to justify the DP, right? I think we went a little bit too far. Okay, here, that DP, I would not fault you for it. Because those were like 5 Okis in a row, right? 5 Oki situations in a row, where they literally did not wait. They were just, you know, pressing buttons and jumping and, you know, Rekkaing. There was no hesitation. So you're like, okay, if I DP, I'll hit them, right? So that's your educated guess based on your opponent's behavior. Okay. Risky. Just block.
Yep.
Like, just block. You also have the fastest close C in the game, so you literally don't have any problem blocking, punishing that. Okay. So you're going a little bit too aggressive against EX Robert, because his fireballs are really, really terrible. They take a lot to start. They cannot hit you if you crouch, like at all. I think if... I don't know about Shingo, but I believe like most characters can just crouch under, even without blocking, if I remember right. But regardless, you can do crouch D to just go under it. Don't jump on him when the fireball's already started, because he will have charge and flash kick you. And also try and adjust when you do what we talked about, the sort of full screen super jump over the fireball. You also have to pay attention to your opponent. You have to see where they are, because you did this, but they are shifting back. So by the time you're down, right, you will be here and they'll be here. So they can punish you, or they can start their offense with a jump CD or whatever. But also, if they throw a fireball, you will land on it. So yeah, like the full screen jump is only good if they just sort of throw the fireball from there. But if they shift back, oh, that was just lucky. You did not deserve that. Okay, crouch in C. No, you're doing this way too much. Like, he's literally DP'd once in the game. No. So, okay, we need to... I need to scold you a bit. Remember when we had, like, the last session, like, 3 weeks ago? I told you, practice the jumps. Practice the jumps. You're moving with rolls. I don't know why, but you're moving with rolls. And this only works if your connection is absolutely terrible. Like, because it's hard to challenge as well. But, you know, even the ones that do that on bad connection have reasons behind it. So please, please, please don't skip the movement. Because until you learn the movement, you're not playing the game.
Yeah. Like I say, that's definitely one of the bad habits I've learned rolling far too. And he can't punish me yet, but he's going to learn how to so that he can.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, in general, like, we all have bad habits, but the bad habits must be outside the system, I always say, because otherwise you're just not playing the game. You're not, like, even these are the basics, right? If you don't have that base, you don't get into the neutral, the RPS, the dynamics, the reading. You're just basically playing outside the system, looking in, and it's gonna damage you in the long run. So I have to tell you that. Okay, good one. A bit too optimistic. I like the idea, but the range was a little bit wrong. And that's why I say practice the movement, because you can close that range pretty easily with like ops and things. You could have done like, you know, if he's here and he's throwing the fireball and you're trying to punish, you can just do op into that and then you have the punish. If that makes sense. Or, you know, even if it's a run and you practice the movement, then you can do it. If you do it from here, of course, you're just going to fly there. Because, like, it's also the timing where you cancel. Because you canceled up here, not down here. So, you know, the arch then gets down. Okay, let's go. Okay. What was the activation about?
That was me messing up my input.
Okay, that's fine. That happens. Okay. Do you know your roots from there? Like, do you know what the mix-up is from that specific special? Because she has a... Okay, cool. So, you know, she has like a low overheads. And, okay, cool. As long as you know.
Now, whether I use them properly or not is another matter. But I do know about them.
Okay. You also have to be careful because you've been super jumping a lot and your opponent is keeping charges for the flash kick. He messed up, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, the moment you're like anchored to the floor, look. So, gonna go into that very quickly. So here, a KOF player waits for them to either fall or fall and recover by doing basically a hop. So if they fall, they can just get ready for Oki. Or if they do recover, they will do a hop into a hyper up to get them here and get them blocking. So basically, you are losing a good 60% of the screen and Oki because you cannot move at the moment. So that's why I'm like, don't skip the movement, please. If you need like advice on how to practice it or whatever, the channels are open in the Discord. But please don't skip the movement because otherwise you're just playing Street Fighter or you're playing other games. This is not KOF. Like that is this is a big advantage to take because you can safe jump and so on. Okay. Yeah, when you see a DP like that, try and go for the knockdown. Even like you don't need the extra ability or anything to punish, right? Like even here, crouch D, go for the knockdown, and once again we have the hopping double situation. Okay. Yeah, I respect that. Do you know you can juggle there, yeah? Arix?
Yes, yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you can get either a normal like super jump D, meet him up here, or, but that is a bit more difficult, especially at low level, you know, like beginning
Change
and so
stance into
on.
the other super.
Yeah, change stance into tiger knee super in the air. So you can get basically a double super for eating the first one. And tiger knee in super, I don't remember air motion on top of my head, but you can buffer the first part inside, you know, say it's like I don't know, quarter circle forward, half circle back, or the other way around. You can buffer the first part of the movement, right? Say this one is first, and then once you're out of the animation, like the recovery, you can just do that into the button and confirm. So you don't have to wait until the recovery to start buffering the move. You can buffer the whole the half of it, and then you can just do, you know, up quarter circle forward, up forward into the button, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, so the buffer, you can do it early. Okay. Wow, that was random.
That was luck.
Yeah, it was. Okay. That's overhead. But see how both of you are like stuck to the ground.
Yeah.
If you were watching the event earlier, like they were not playing like this. They were like bunny hopping all over the place. You gotta just block that. It is not unblockable. It's only unblockable if he charges the whole thing, but it takes like 2 whole seconds to charge to hold the whole thing.
I thought I had blockable, but then it probably.
Maybe you got an accidental backdash. You never know. Okay, we got Andy back in the scene.
Yep. Andy's by far my strongest character.
Good.
We can get everyone else that I want to play up to that level.
Okay, nice punish there. Great. Yes, and now you're in the corner. Yeah, at the moment you're not playing defensive at all. So basically, okay, here you have the okay. Here you messed up. I don't know what happened. So here, what is basically, you're basically in what I called passive phase. You have to block, right? Something's gonna happen. I mean, the crowd C whiffed, but you did not react to that, right? So you're gonna block because something's gonna happen. Either it's a Rekka, right? It goes forward, or it's a jump. Something's gonna happen. Now, this in this case is much harder for somebody to react to something because they're already preoccupied to where do I have to block? Do I have to keep the crouch blocking because a sweep might come? Do I have to stand block because a fast jump into overhead might come? Will he run in and just do a common grab? What do I have to do? You have a lot on your head. Going back to, you know, this meter, mental energy meter, there's a lot going on in your head. So once this situation is disengaged, is what I call active phase. In active phase, you know that is neutral again. You know that like you are not a frame disadvantage and things like that. So you're ready to anti-air. That is more likely, especially when you're starting to play a game, when you'll be able to anti-air. If you try and anti-air out of the passive phase, oh boy, you're gonna have trouble because your brain is still engaged into this. Where do I have to block and what's gonna happen? So try and recognize when it's an active phase and when it's a passive phase, because from there it's easier to take decision, even like on a subconscious level. I'm not sure what that was. See, but yeah, you're going in, but you're not really understanding what your opponent is doing.
Yeah.
So. Oh look, so here you get, you know, swept or whatever, and then punish. But now you're just running in, it jumped, that's fine. And then you're just gonna do the same thing again. Oh no, actually no. But okay. But yeah, just generally you're running, you're just trying to do your thing without consideration for what your opponent is doing. And don't get me wrong, like you're both new, so it's hard to predict what it's gonna do because it's not really playing into the expected boundaries, if that makes sense. But still, if you don't play reactively, you're never going to practice the what are they gonna do next. You have no time to read. There is like your reading phase is simply not there. It's simply not there. You're just like doing your thing or whatever, and if it works, it works.
Hoping for the best, sort of.
Yeah, and the fact is, this could work when you're much better than your opponent, and also when you're playing at the like low to beginner level. But once you get more consistent and more like confident in your play, you're gonna match with opponents that will be, you know, more consistent and more confident in their play. If you don't recognize that you have to stop and think, sometimes you're going to miss a lot of chances to score big damage because your opponent is going to mess up, or your opponent might do something that is not necessarily a mess up, but has some weaknesses that you can exploit. At the moment, you don't know what these weaknesses you can exploit are, not because you're not expert enough into the game. Of course, yes, you're learning, but also because what you know, you're not ready to apply it because you're just doing your offensive phase regardless.
A lot of these kicks were
Shingo kicks?
That, well, yeah, they were execution not being executed properly.
That's fine.
The D-pad's a bit rubbish.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, it could have been a kill.
I could have guaranteed it. Yeah, I could have guaranteed it with a combo instead of risking that.
Okay, ouch. That's the only thing that you didn't like. Oh well, I mean, there's two reasons here. You would have lost literally like this much bar at least, like off of that, if your opponent knew what to do. Because the first thing is they didn't know that they had to block high, right? Because that's an overhead. But also then if they have the execution, oh boy.
Yeah.
Like this is why I say to a lot of people, I don't care if you're a beginner. You have to play people that are much better than you. Because at this time, like with no offense, you know, to you or your brother, you're not learning because you're like, oh, okay, I just did something, right? Oh, maybe it was risky. No, but not only that. Maybe he will like, you know, stand block and punish you with a DP, and then you lose like this much amounts of life, right? But if you hit it, then you might have this amount of life taken. And to you, this means still, oh yeah, it's a risk that I can take. Against a player, against a player that can punish you, you will lose like 70% into an Oki that then you have to guess. You can literally lose the game like that. So that's why I push people, even I know it's hard when you're starting, that you don't want to, you know, lose repeatedly over and over. But that's why I say to people, look at how you lost. Because you don't have to do like, you know, 10 first to fives in a row against somebody to start getting better. You can literally do 3 matches, see a punish like that, and instantly know, oh man, I really don't have to do that at the beginning. I really can't afford that. So yeah. Yeah, at the moment, the only reason why you cannot apply your 5-way mix-ups or like your eyes and your pressure is the movement, because you don't have the hops to enable that range that you can set up overheads from and cross-ups from. Have you ever played on stick, by the way? Because I know you play on pad, and I'm not familiar on playing, you know, KOF on pad.
No, I've not played on stick before, no.
Yeah. At the moment, a lot of your game seems to be gate capped by your execution. So I don't know if it's the fact that, you know, KOF has strict movement options that need to be executed properly, and maybe the pad is not helping you, or your knowledge of how to apply the movement on pad. Okay, DP. Okay, good block. No.
I know.
Could have had the launcher there.
Yeah.
Okay, good conversion. Another one. Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the second time he wakes up with flash kick super. So now is the reason why. Now is the time where you're like, oh, wait a minute. Will they wake up like this a lot with Robert? Then you can try and guess when they're gonna do it. Roll and full punish. No.
I know.
Okay.
I take liberties because I know that. Well, before this he couldn't counter that. But
Yeah.
I've stopped doing it. He's learned. I blame Frank.
You blame Frank, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, at the moment you're taking liberties, and you're gonna take liberties a lot if you keep playing players that, you know, are kind of like at your level and they cannot punish you hard. You will stop taking liberties the moment you get punished with 70% like every single time. That's why, like, that's also why when people play me that are new at the game but they want to learn and they explain to me that they really want to understand the game, I play like I'm playing in tournament. Like I'm playing like there's money on the line. Because even though it's gonna be feeling like, oh man, there's so much I have to learn, then we can take it from there and explain why some decisions are literally to be scrapped. Because otherwise you just keep doing the thing.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, you were fishing for counters. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's the hop. Let's go.
Yep.
Finally, let's go. See, no, but like, literally, you just changed. Like, literally, that's the first time you did the hop, and you literally just changed the game. That's why it's so important. Like, we're just going to look at it and explain why. Because, I mean, here you get sweat. Okay, sure. But oh, you went over a fireball. You could have punished if you had pressed the button, but that's fine. That's not the point, right? You went over a fireball and you could have punished, right? Then you could have gone into low as well here and played the mix-up. And then you sweep, and then you're threatening the same mix-up, right? You're threatening the high, high, low, the empty into throw or whatever. So yeah, that's why it's like you just change the dynamics of the game so fast. And I like that backdash. That backdash smelled like a DP bait, and that's pretty decent. But from there, I don't know how much you have to punish. So just walk outside the rage and crouch D. It's much easier. Okay. Once again, you're not seeing what your opponent is doing.
Yep.
I mean, that worked. That's fine. But there is no read there. Like, I can't... 100%, I don't believe you just run in and be like, oh, he's going to do a button now and he's going to do this button and so on. No, you just kind of did your own thing. Okay, that worked. Because, like, even if you do the counter, you can just jump behind you and punish you, or he can throw you.
Yeah.
Okay, good one. Good recognition of the range for the fireball. But now you've done it 2 times in a row.
Uh-huh.
Oh. 3 times in a row. Okay. You really like that counter, huh?
Yeah.
It's working though. It's working.
You
Like
really
I like that you're reading. Actually, now you're reading the buttons. You know, especially on wake up, because he didn't wake up with the timing where he was waking up.
Well, he's played Guile for years and he likes his wake-up flash kick, so I saw it coming.
Yeah, absolutely. But then it made sense, you know, because you're doing it on a wake-up at the timing where he will press a button. You're not doing it in neutral randomly for the shits and giggles.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
definitely a bad habit I did get into with melee.
Super!
I know.
Okay. So good. Now the fact is, those jumping as well, that's another reason why I'm like, you should play somebody that knows. Those jumpings are only working because it's doing the flash kick early. Like it's flash kicking when you're here rather than when you're here. Because if it does delay, you lose it. Believe me.
I can imagine.
Okay. Right, another button. I'm not sure why he's waking up with crushing these so much. Okay, that worked out.
He's not now.
Yeah.
I think Frank's told him off for it.
Fair enough. But look at your play. You were super jumping a lot, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, another thing that you have to understand is you don't need to hard read the DP when you have a full character and the character behind. Just block it. Just literally walk in. If you want to do something, fake, I don't know, a crouch B or whatever before, and then just block it and punish it. Because like you're gonna do much more damage anyway, right? If you block it and punish it, even if it's just like buffering super as soon as the block is finished, then having to go behind, then having to readjust your brain because you're like, oh, now what is the thing? I have to switch all my inputs back. I have to run into it when you can just like be here. Your inputs don't change side, and you just are able to buffer as well. So don't really do that. The role is only for like extremely hard to punish DPs. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's doing like the crouching D a lot. So one thing that you could do is up outside. Yeah, exactly. From this range, whenever like is finished blocking something, it will do crouch D, or like, you know, when it's landing from something. So if you're here,
could have hopped in.
Yeah, up and punish. Okay, that could have killed you.
Is that? Yep.
You're both playing pretty wild. I like it.
That's what happens when the only people that we fight against ourselves for 20 years.
Yeah, fair enough. Third time in a row. Yeah. See, that is teaching you that thing works. Like, if you were to take your experience from this game, you're like, that is a good option. It always hits. No, it's not.
except I think there's a part of me that also knew I need to stop doing that because I know that that's not safe on block. And eventually he'll learn to block it and punish.
Yeah.
Or I'll do it online and then I'll get my butt kicked.
Yeah. No, that only combos on counter it. On a jump CD, back jump CD, if they're high enough, you can kind of like juggle with counter it, but it's fairly specific. So yeah, don't do that. Okay. I'm gonna see what you do with Andy because I have noticed something that I don't like, and I will tell you later. Okay, fishing guard with his counters. Oh, crouch D, please. We can punish that. Okay, finally some hyper ops. Another thing that you do a lot, and this is why I think you're not practicing much ops and hyper ops. You use the run to close the gap a lot. Like if you remember when we played, right? Well, aside from there, like here, I don't run. I just like hyper up in, or you know, up into go into cross up. So the run is convenient, but you need to really let go of that anchor because at the moment it's anchoring you down.
Yeah.
Okay, good throw. And once again, you gotta just like blocked and crouch D. Like she's one of the characters that doesn't really have to fear the DP pushing her too far out because she has like crouch D that is like so freaking far. It's so freaking far as well. Like Shangfei. Shangfei also has this really good thing for her going, where she can just crouch D the DPs.
Just thinking of
Okay, Very wild. Okay. Yeah, and then you're dead.
Yep.
Yeah, you have like a very, very big patterns right now. Like you're in the third match of this set, and you have very big patterns. Like I can tell you a lot of the stuff that you do. So you super jump a lot, right? You do like run in and do counters quite a bit. You do counters on wake up mostly because they're working, right? So I don't fault you for that. And also you press buttons at mid range. Like this is why I'm saying also you're limited with the movement, because when you're here, right, your super jump, you know that if you super jump, you're just gonna get there, while your opponent is standing here, and it's like that's useless. So since you cannot, you're not comfortable with the movement for the hops and hyper hops, you just like press buttons and hope they hit, because you're like anchored down. There's like literally, what's it called? An anchor, a sink that is just like keeping you there. Yeah. And you just like can't take the movement. So, I don't know, like if you do buttons like that against somebody that knows, they would just stand outside the range and sweep you over and over again. Which is also like a lot how you play the neutral, both of you. Because you recognize that even like subconsciously. Like, see all of these buttons. Look, he pressed 5 buttons in a row.
Yeah.
And this is not just, KOF crouch Bs. Yeah, that's part of the game. But buying those crouch Bs that are right at the dynamics. The dynamic here is whether my opponent is here or here or here or here or here, they will not take this. They will not do this. I do have no risk sticking a button out because they can jump on me. So yeah. Now look, it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the same thing you do as well, because you know that your opponent is not going to jump on you. That was good. Finally, you have like a proper bait and punish sequence. I like that one.
Yeah. Almost looked like I knew what I was doing there.
But against flash kick, actually, since we're talking about it, roll back instead of rolling forward, because the flash kick moves forward, right? So if you go that side and you like say you're not playing Shingo, they can clear the screen with the super fast. He goes that side, you go on this side, and you just literally just lost, because like you don't have the punish. Yes, you with Shingo you have it, but generally just go with him because it's not gonna hit you anyway. So then when he lands literally on you, and you can get like close C into something, into super. So you can even maximize that punish. Okay. Yeah, and that's why you're resetting at full screen a lot, because you want that jump.
Yep.
Okay, risky, but okay, worked out. Okay, this is what I was talking about. So remember when I started teaching you Andy, showing you how I play my Andy, since I play him as well?
Mm-hmm.
What did we talk about once you get a knockdown? You got a knockdown here. What were the options that we were talking about? Remember? It was
the kunai drop thing, carry it to get more damage. There was a light DP.
No, but that's after the proximity unblockable. I'm talking like on wake up. You have crouch B into down forward A, right? The chin raiser.
Yep.
You have the cartwheel overhead kick, the forward B, into the OTG thing. You have the delay into proximity unblockable, the launches, and you also have the step back into up D cross up, right? You stop doing that. You have completely stopped doing that. So what I would do, because this will help you a lot, I know it helped me when I was starting to learn fighting games is to write these things down, like make a document of all the things that you have to remember per character, because then it's there and you can always look at it and it's like, okay, we started from here. I know this is established. Why am I going back to doing other things that might work, but they need to have a purpose behind it? Like, you can reinvent Oki for a character. I did, right, in other games. There's something I do in Grand Blue that no other Ladiva does, right? And I made it a standard. But you have to have reasons to reinvent the wheel. So now you got the overhead. That's fine. But I think you don't go with a low down forward A anymore. I haven't seen it at all used by you. So you just gave up like an option.
Just from developing other habits, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like it's understandable, right? You're somewhat new and you have a lot to keep track of. That's why I'm saying write it down, because it's not easy. It's not like automatic to keep all of these options in your head. Hell, I forget a lot of stuff. Remember, I don't know if you were there when I started streaming KOF 2K2 UM. Probably not, because you joined a little bit later in the community. You've seen, right, that I can compete at pretty high level, at least in Europe and North Africa, right? So I made like top 8 in the 2B league and so on. I had on my stream a window under my cam that said, do this with Chris more, do this with Shanfei more, do this with Bao more. It doesn't mean that I cannot play the game. It means that I know I'm forgetting options that I need to work on. For example, I don't do empty command grab with empty jump command grab or empty op command grab with Shanfei enough. I don't combo from dive kicks and jump CDs counter hits into super enough with Chris. I know that. And that's why I write it down. So take like a notebook or, mobile app, whatever you want to do, whatever is most comfortable, and do it, because it's really easy to forget options. That was sick. Okay, now you have him in the corner. Yeah, that was way too high. You got punished on hit.
Yeah.
You got punished on hit because he was way too high. Oh, not on the hit. Actually, no. You didn't block. I thought it was like while you were still in the air. But still, like... Yeah. Okay, that was sick. Just super jump D. Like you can buffer that. Don't have to do the super. Just do super jump D, because if you do super jump D there, you hit up here, right? More or less. And then you have a mix up with the, like, once again, low, high, cross up, or roll forward to avoid the DP or whatever. So you do have options. Okay. Testing him a bit too much.
I expected, expected a sweeper.
Okay. You have some adaptation here from the first game, but you're still way too busy doing your own thing.
Yep.
So there is some. I recognize that there is some thinking involved and consideration involved, which is great because it doesn't come alone, But yeah, right now you're just terrified of being in that corner, and I don't know why. There's literally like, okay, let's go back to it. Okay, so there. Okay. So here, there is literally nothing to fear. You just block, right? And you're eating damage. You're trying to... Look, there is like no mix up there. So, how far he walked back, you just block it and react to high.
Yeah.
You're pressing buttons again. You're just like terrified, but there is no reason to it. You can just block. It's an option. Okay. I'm not sure that was planned.
It wasn't. You probably knew that.
Yeah, that's punishable. There's only like safe at full screen, like basically full range. Otherwise, it's punishable, very punishable. Okay. Crouch D is easier, so just go for the easy one. Okay, good pressure. Once again, you could have lost the game there.
Yeah.
And you had like you had like literally this amount of life, and you would have given him the game. Okay. See why I tell you it's harder to do the roll and then go around than just blocking it. What happened here?
It was basically saying, right, I'm
done.
Finish me off because nothing's going through, and I was like, no,
okay.
Come on, pick up the controller. You can still bring it back.
At least that was sportsmanship. Okay. You're just annoyed, you can see it.
Yeah.
And now you don't want to kill him. Okay. So
honestly, I was more thinking, right, how can I make it look good? But no, it wasn't happening.
Fair enough.
I just went with the elbowing.
I'm gonna be harsh here, right?
Do it. Go for it. Do it.
Usually, like, you know, I give you a lot of pointers and a lot of things to work on. There's nothing else. This is like, we're not moving from here. Like, you know, we had moved from here, right? Because you had used it, not a lot, but you had used it, right? And it was part of your game. Now we're in a position where you basically don't use them anymore. So here, we're not moving from here. Like, I'm not wanting to see next game, which are 5 games like this. Go and practice ops and hyper ops. That's the only thing you need. If you lose like the next set against your brother 3-0 without taking a character, and I see you hopping around the screen, I'll be happy because we can build from there. We cannot build from this. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions?
The main one would basically double checking settings to practice.
Can you get closer to the microphone because you're cutting again?
Sorry. The main thing would be trying to getting from you what settings I should use in training.
Okay.
So that I can more consistently practice my hops. I know it did go over.
Yeah. For the settings in training, it's really just like getting a situation in which you can set up sort of a mini game from the for the practice. Otherwise, it's just going to be boring for you, right? This is something that I discuss with other people as well. There's the K2 I wasn't finding it. One sec. Why is this? Oh, there's music happening. Okay, sorry. So, let me just get my stick very quickly. So one thing that you could do, for example, it doesn't have to be against the CPU. Like, if you want to involve your brother or anybody from the Discord, or even me when I'm free, we can do it together, right? I would like you to set up a situation in which you try basically and punish sweeps with ops and hyper ops, because that is something that I've seen a lot when you were playing your brother, right? They were just doing a lot of crouch Bs and things like that. So let me just lower the volume. So, for example, I'm not even gonna pick Yori because Yori's is like a terrible sweep, but let's just say Robert, right? So if I do set him up as dummy, I forgot to change the player, right? So if I set him up, even something very, very simple, right? Because you're just starting, and do that. And put yourself in a situation where you have to punish that sweep on reaction from where you are. Like, you cannot walk forward, you cannot run forward, you cannot full jump forward. It has to be either hop or hyper hop, right? In this situation, it will be hyper hop, but you can, you know, move a little bit early, move a little bit closer, so you're in range for hops, right? So, and you can make it like harder, because you can make the recording harder to predict, right? At the moment, it's just like him jumping, right, and so on. So you can always react. It's like this ages for you. It's like, okay, this is when it's jumping. I dropped it, but you get the idea. So do things like that, really. And if you have like, if you need the hop, you can just walk forward, right? Or if you want to maybe set up a cross up, right? Oops, a little bit closer I have to be. You can use a super jump, but with meaning to go for a cross up, right? Because you want like a more reliable conversion and so on. So these are like very, very easy things. So once you've practiced this, you can get like, you can ask a human opponent to basically be your dummy, because a human opponent then will start like, you know, walking in or jumping back and forth and making that a little bit less predictable for you. And this is like how you practice and make it fun. You know, it can be different characters as well, because not every character will have the same sweep. And then you can evolve for it not to be a sweep, but maybe be a crouching B instead, right? Which is even faster to recover and harder to punish. So controls. So if I do the same thing, if I do the crouch, I will do crouching B and then stand block, because right, we're expecting a jump, right? In a situation like that, it's much harder already. So you're already graduating your practice game to level 2, if that makes sense. Because see, now even if I react to that jump, right, and I react to this jump B, it's not going to be enough. So I have to be really on point with my read if I want to punish it. And that's already like the bigger challenge.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, messed up. So yeah, that's how usually I practice my situations, and I involve other people. Like, that is really important. And you can do this, I don't know about, the problem is you're on PS4. With Steam, you can do it like with Steam Remote Play and so on. That's why it's like, oh, the PC version helps you a little bit more. But say, I don't know, like, I'm assuming you're not in the same house as your brother, but if you're with your brother, then you can practice things like that. Okay? Any other question?
Yeah. No, that was it.
Okay, cool. I'll stop.
Thanks.